the grounding and activating the senses really pulls you into that moment.
We're going to have a lot of women showing up first for dates and just looking around, just being so calm.
What's your take on splitting the bill?
You could be honest or you could be politically correct.
If someone could take away one thing from this conversation, what would you like it to be?
To show themselves some compassion.
I think we're going to wrap this up with a little bit of like rapid-ish fire, because some of the questions are going to be like easy to answer in a rapid way, but then some, because you have such a wealth of knowledge, are going to require a little bit longer answers, right? I'm going to start with some softball. So favorite drink, time and place for a date here in New York City, first date?
Anywhere downtown. Like, I'm a downtown kind of girl.
Love
it. Soho, Nolita, that,
Yep.
And a bar, cocktails for a first date. So whatever you like. What do I usually go for? If it's the summer, I'm an Aperol Spritz girl.
I can never get behind an Aperol Spritz. It just tastes so bitter to me for some reason. But
yeah,
everybody has different taste buds.
There you go.
What's your take on splitting the bill?
You could be honest or you could be politically correct, whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, I think in my case, I would pretend to go for the wallet, but
the reach.
The reach. Do the reach.
I think the reach is so polite. It's such a polite thing to do in today's society. You know what I mean? Don't have that expectation walking in. I reached so hard. I actually insisted that I'd pay, and you're like, no. And I was like, thank you. And then you have to have a really sincere thank you as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? It can't be like, oh, thanks. It's be genuine. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. I think the splitting happens maybe a few dates down the line.
Yeah. That's when the balance comes into play. But I feel like that's a general consensus we get across the board with a lot of women. What's your go-to affirmation for someone struggling with dating anxiety? What's something that they could say, like a phrase, a word, they could say themselves in the mirror that would just help ease it a little bit?
Yeah. I think just I'm going to take this one day, one moment, one date at a time.
I like that. I like that a lot. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. What are some quick in-the-moment coping strategies for someone who feels their anxiety creeping in before or just before a date? They're about to walk in, they're like, oh my God, I'm getting so anxious.
Yeah. The breath is so powerful, right? The breath is the one function of our autonomic nervous system we have control over, right? So deepening the breath, even just taking 3 deep breaths, right, can get us out of that sympathetic nervous system state of fight or flight into the parasympathetic nervous system state of rest and digest. Also doing some grounding work with the senses. So this is great if you, let's say, get to the date before your date does, right? You can take a seat, feel yourself seated, see around you, see what you can take in with your senses, sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, all of that. Because the grounding and activating the senses really pulls you into that moment.
Great advice.
We're going to have a lot of women showing up first for dates and just looking around, just being so calm.
Breathing.
It's going to be the new New York trend to this podcast.
Calm dating. I love it. I love it so much. All right, 2 more. What's one piece of dating advice that you wish you had learned earlier?
Let me think.
I know it's a hard one.
It is a hard one. I think I would have liked to just learn that it's okay to be fully me. The right person is going to love that. Yeah.
I love that. I love that advice. It's such good advice for people out there. You are going to find your person. You're going to find that one person that thinks all of your perceived quirks and flaws are just the most magical thing ever. And they're going to think you're the most magical being.
And it's very important. Again, going back to my experience when I lived here, I'd pretend to know about art or music before a date because I was that's cool. That's what women want. And then I'm saying these things. I'm like, what am I even talking about? I don't know anything about this stuff.
Oh, darling. That's so sweet. All right, last one. If someone could take away one thing from this conversation, what would you like it to be?
Yeah. I think to show themselves some compassion, to notice the critical voice in their minds or when they start to speak to themselves harshly, and try to be more gentle, compassionate, soft with yourself.
I'm going to take that advice. You have to take it too.